Yeah, so first of all, wow, that was great, and thank you. All of our speakers, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourselves. And then anyone who has a question, you can do the little raise hand thing, or you know what, we're all friends here. You can just go ahead and unmute yourself and speak up. And I am not seeing anybody pop in yet. I had a question that came up for me while Moya was talking. You mentioned, you touched a little bit on transitioning from doing a lot of events to a lot of virtual, and I know a lot of people are in that scenario right now. So what advice would you give people on how to make that work?
I think the biggest thing is the willingness to try, right? I mean, you don't know if you don't try something, right? And then communicate very as clearly as possible what you're doing. So what we're doing more so now is like we would just like, oh, we'd send an email in the past. This is what we're doing. So we're going to send an email and a video describing it more than once because I found even myself, like sometimes like for example, we bought tickets to the Shakespeare. I'm like, is it going? Is it not going? Like, what's going on? And I read the email, but was still kind of confused. But I listened to the video. I saw that there was a video. I'm like, oh, and I watched the video, and I'm like, this is brilliant. I need to start doing videos explaining the instructions because just like there's different types of learners. So that's kind of a big thing that I'm encouraging the wineries and even our team to do is clear videos with instructions if you're changing things.
Wow, that's a great tip. Any of our other speakers want to pitch in on that?
Yeah, I would back that up. I'd totally back up what Moya's saying. I think that, if the last 12, 13, 14 months has taught us anything, is to be agile. We are living in, we could say, oh, poor us as a community by virtue of what we've faced. But I think if nothing else, take it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to reinvent some of your processes. It's an opportunity to look at alternative ways to engage. Listen, I mean, we're sitting here in a room full of faces on a digital screen. 2 years ago, if I'd had asked the majority of the people on this call, would you ever sit in front of a camera on your laptop or your desktop and do this? It would be an emphatic no. But the reality is we've been forced to do that, and that's also opened up a lot of channels for people to be able to communicate in different ways. And so the key simply is to find ways to adapt and be, again, agile.
Sometimes I think videos are a little bit easier to find as well. If your instructions are in a video rather than searching for an email, you have the app on your phone. You can actually just pull up YouTube and click on the video and you can watch it right there. So sometimes I think it's a little more accessible because you have that mini computer in your pocket all the time.
Another great point. Amber, do you use videos internally or externally?
We do use videos. We've seen that people are more likely to engage with a video than just to read text. And that's not just internally, that's externally too. We try to utilize videos, on our social media platforms and our website, linking out to our YouTube channel. So they're definitely a powerful way to get that message across. And I would just, to add to all this is encourage people to be creative. Just because you've done something for so long the same way doesn't mean you can't change it up. We've all had to cancel events or adjust over the last year, but you can still have those promotions or opportunities for your consumers. You just have to think about it in a different way, in a different manner now.
Yeah, I wanted to back up one more thing that that she touched on, and I think for every business, video and having YouTube channels, these are all other ways in which you emphasize your presence online. So these are other indexable pieces of information that build up your visibility online. So Google loves video. Obviously, if they didn't, they wouldn't own YouTube. But the fact of the matter is that it's a component that if businesses are willing to put themselves out there, not only can they add their brand to it in terms of their identity and their information, but it's a way, again, of extending their content that makes them more relevant.
Wow, yeah. So Ron, what are some of the other touch points we haven't talked about?
Ooh, touch points. Oh, see, now you put me on the spot. I mean, I think that, let's put it this way. We're living in a very, I wouldn't say so much Wild West anymore, but I think that the opportunities for any business today are in the multiples. You don't have to look very far to find ways to extend your brand, and that's, certainly social media is an easy one for us to throw on the wall and say, well, open up a channel. I mean, if you're in the business of selling something or you're in the business of a product, you should have a Pinterest page. You should be out there promoting those kinds of things, because again, it's an extension of ways in which you can show off what you sell. The other piece of that too, though, is don't just do it because it's out there. Be intentional. Okay, it's like what I talked about before. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to do it. But if you're going to do it, commit to it, and be willing to stay on top of it. Because I think that's the biggest mistake that most companies make, is that they will create an online presence in one way or another, and they'll abandon it. And the audience is smart. It doesn't take much, and they're like, yeah, they're not really engaged, so why should I be?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're not on TikTok.
Among other reasons, right? Yeah. I digress.
All right. We have a question from Lindsay. As you think in terms of promotions or ways you give back to your customers or vendors, what do you do, either regularly or occasionally, to build engagement with your brand for your team members? And actually, I want to make sure that we ask Tressa about this, because we have a program going in here internally this year that has just been phenomenally successful, and we're all really excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, so for us at Solve, we're actually right in the middle of our biannual staff meeting. So it's all day Thursday and half day Friday, where we bring all of our teammates in, and we have food and learning. We bring in outside resources, and it's really all about team building and bonding, and just learning different ways that we can improve ourselves, improve the company, and help customers. As part of that, the year-long program, today we celebrated our KPI rewards program that we put in at the beginning of the year. And what we did is, again, Moya, Ron, and I all know what KPIs are. Probably most companies have those, that as a team member, I'm responsible for different improvement processes each year. And what we decided to do this year, rather than just write them out at the beginning of the year and then have everybody file them in a drawer and take them out once a quarter and look at them, we thought we'd make a fun game out of it. And so we built a program where everybody gets to earn points for different areas of helping the business. So you get badges and money for completing a KPI. You get stickers and prizes for leading a Tuesday Teams meeting, or doing a presentation, or working on a process improvement, or working with other people in different departments, as well as getting a testimonial from one of your teammates to say, it was fantastic working with Carrie on this particular project. She was so insightful, gave me a lot of things to work on, was there with me step by step. Anyway, we get to earn all these points and prizes throughout the year, and there's this huge competition going on between all the employees, not only as trying to earn their own points and prizes, but actually paying attention to their teammates and figuring out how they can help each other improve and grow. It's been fantastic. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're loving it because there's a lot of winners and nobody has to lose.
Yes, we're playing the infinite game on this. Yeah. That is for sure. And if you don't know that book, it's by Simon Sinek, called The Infinite Game. And it's just one thing to look at, that when you're on a team, let's all play to win, and let's all help each other win.
So Amber, I know this is very much an important role that you fill at Pioneers. So I'm wondering what you do to engage your team with your brand.
Yeah, so this year we've really taken a step back and focused on education. We have a internal daily communication thread that we call our daily huddle, and rather than every department sending out emails, it's all funneled in one email once a day. So it just makes it really clear and concise for everyone to be on the same page. But we've included a little corner of that called our brand focus. And, like I was talking about how it's so important for your team members to know the ins and outs of your brand, it's also overwhelming for them, especially if you're not utilizing every element of it every day, like we are as marketers. So we've taken that and we've broken it out into bite-sized nuggets. So, 1 week we might just be focusing on the mission statement and why it's important, how it adds value to your company. The next week we're talking about color schemes and why they're important and different emotions that arise with color choices. So we have really focused again on education and just making it clear for our team members to understand and to utilize in their everyday jobs.
Okay. Ron, Moya, anything to add?
We, so I kind of like Tressa, I buy them cool things to wear because they're walking billboards. We need to start doing this again now, is we'd have breakfast once a month. And that was just fun. We would try different breakfast places because then we're supporting local, right? And then one thing that they really like is we pay for Audible for them.
Oh,
And it's just like for like continuing education. And it's amazing. It costs $150, but it's amazing how far that goes, is paying for the Audible. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I would add to that, incentivizing your team members. You want them to engage in that education or that conversation you're trying to start. And we all know that we work with getting free stuff. That's just how we're wired, unfortunately. But incentivizing them with logo wear, apparel, stuff like that. So then it's still an extension of your brand. That when they're wearing it, others are seeing it. They feel, more powerful being a part of the brand. Just little things like that can go a long way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that the only other thing that I would add to that is just, I mean, we just on occasion, we have one swag item or another. And I'll tell you, the one great thing about giving stuff like that away, we do T-shirts. We haven't done one in a while, but I remember one of my sons saying to me, "Dad, I saw some kid wearing one of your T-shirts, and it said underdog on the chest." And he said that he asked this kid, he said, "Hey, where did you get that?" And of course the kid's response was brilliant. He's like, "I don't know," and it doesn't matter. I mean, it was a wonderful extension of an intention, that we really try to stand by. And when we create anything, we try to create it, like Tressa said, in a way that it's something that people want. It's something that they want to keep. It's something that they don't go, "Great, thanks for this," throw it in a drawer, never to be seen again. I mean, if you're going to create something that extends your culture, whether it be, Tressa did these amazing hydro flasks for us that depicted our artwork on our entryway. It was super cool, and they're hydro flasks, so they're really quality bottles, but they're unique items. They're very, very unique items, and we want to always think about ways to give. If you're going to give something that's cool. We did speakers one year for our employees where we actually had them custom printed, and they're these cool Bluetooth speakers that sit on a desk and they pound out the sound. So I guess the point is just whatever you put out there, don't make it tchotchke if you can help it. Make it worthwhile so that way it extends not only the value of the item that you purchased, but it extends your culture and it makes people proud.
all right, great point. All right, well, we have about 5 minutes left. Does anybody have any last questions or comments? Are y'all pretty excited about the challenges? Who's jumping in on that?
Once again, I am 100% happy to be a brutal accountability coach here and say that, you know, just bring it on. I'll be happy to call you out on it at the end of 30 days.
He says brutal, but Ron is actually not that scary.
she
Maybe
is
a
right.
little scary.
No, not at all.
All right. So yeah, we do encourage you to take Ron up on that and answer Amber's questions. You can send those to Carrie Kshock at thesolvegroup.com, or if you have trouble remembering how to spell that, you can just send it to marketing@thesolvegroup.com, and we will make sure that she gets it.